Guys, let's go right here. Last Dance last night, episodes 7 and 8, brought into clear focus just how maniacal Michael Jordan was. I think that's the word I wanted to use in his pursuit of championships. Michael Jordan, a bully, intimidating his teammates. We heard Bill Whittington, Will Perdue, Steve Kerr, Judd Bushler, B.J. Armstrong talk about Michael Jordan being a jerk and being relentless. We heard Scotty Burrell. We heard trash talk from Jordan, where he was pretty relentless in his bullying tactics with his own teammates. I'm watching this last night, and my initial gut reaction as I watch is like, Michael Jordan is the Bobby Knight of basketball players. Michael Jordan has a lot in common with Bobby Knight, the legendary Indiana coach, known for his temper, known for his bullying tactics with his own college players. That was my thought last night. This morning, a friend of mine that I went to Ball State with, he was on the basketball team. He's originally from Detroit. He texted me a message that was even better than my Bobby Knight analogy. He asked the question, so as a Pistons fan, I'm watching Michael Jordan be celebrated as this great leader for bullying and intimidating his teammates, but I'm looking at Isiah Thomas be vilified for bullying and intimidating his opponents. And Isiah Thomas is vilified. Michael Jordan is celebrated. There is some hypocrisy here. And I want to be clear here before I toss it to Marcellus and Rick. Obviously, I've made no secret of the fact that I'm friends with Isiah. I'm a fan of Isiah. If you study my journalistic career, I have defended Isiah Thomas through thick and thin, through all the controversy. I think Isiah is one of the most misunderstood athletes of my lifetime and my generation. I love Isiah Thomas. Having said that, I have a lot of respect for Michael Jordan. And last night, when I was watching and made the Bob Knight analogy, I was someone that really never had a problem with Bob Knight and his tactics. I certainly never had a problem with the Pistons and Isiah Thomas and their tactics. But I do think it's hypocritical the way Michael Jordan is celebrated as this great leader, and we're all kind of laughing and looking back and like, oh, my God, it was very effective what Michael Jordan did. He celebrated. Meanwhile, Bobby Knight, Isiah Thomas vilified. And so which leads the question, Bobby Knight, Isiah Thomas, their legacies have been diminished because their tactics allegedly went over the top. Look, I hate to go here because I think y'all going to pounce and it's going to be hard for me to recover from the way y'all about to pounce on me. But everything y'all are saying...
We're not going to bully you, Jason.
People would justify Bobby Knight's actions. But Bobby Knight, the same thing. People that went through that military-like experience with Bobby Knight on the other side of say it was awful, but man, did we win? Did I learn things? And look, I'm very consistent. I'm from Indiana. I got the whole Bobby Knight experience. If you went there, you signed up for that abuse, and he delivered. I had no problem with it, have always defended Bobby Knight, even when he's crossed the lines or whatever and he's been wrong, but overall defended Bobby Knight. All I'm saying is Isiah Thomas, the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons, they bullied Michael Jordan. They bullied their opponents. Michael Jordan still holding a grudge. Isiah, reputation, never given the credit that he fully deserves as one of, as, in my view, the greatest leader the NBA's seen other than Bill Russell, in my opinion. He and Bill Russell on the same level. To take his undersized body and do what he did in the NBA with his group of teammates. He didn't play with the top 50 players, Scottie Pippen, Magic playing with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird playing with Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish. Isiah took his group and won championships and was a force in the 1980s, beat Bird, Magic, and Michael in the 80s. Somehow his reputation as a leader is diminished. But Michael Jordan, and again, y'all saying that, look, not only beating up Steve Kerr and he knew he was wrong, the bullying of Scott Burrell, Horace Grant, don't feed him on an airplane. We've heard story after story. I'm not trying to diminish Michael. I watch it, and I love it all. I love it. I love all three of them equally. This is what winners do. But to me, it's hypocritical. Isiah, Bobby Knight get trashed. Michael Jordan gets celebrated. Let's end on this note. I want a comment from each of you on this. And this is my problem. And I got my Michael Jordan cigar. I still support Michael, but there's some hypocrisy here. Michael Jordan, to me, owes Isiah Thomas an apology. I'm telling you, I watched this, thought of Bobby Knight. My friend made me think about the Isiah Thomas connection. And I'm watching this, I'm going, this man is sitting on TV talking about, I hate Isiah Thomas. Basically, I have no respect for what they did, the Pistons and their approach and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Isiah bullied opponents. You bullied your teammates, but you still, 30 years later, have a problem with Isiah Thomas. You ran him off the damn dream team. Allegedly, he was, a bad guy. He was going to mess up chemistry and blah, blah, blah. And maybe Mike wasn't alone. But to me, Mike looks hypocritical, still holding a grudge against Isiah Thomas. Can we at least agree on that?
Yeah, I agree with you right there, because Isiah looks the most authentic of them all, being the leader of the Bad Boys Pistons. He's like, this isn't for show. I'm going to do this in my life, in my heart, inside and out. Whereas I think Michael Jordan's became more of a persona, more of a pick and choose when you can show that killer mentality. But then in situations where someone actually is exemplifying that, like Isiah Thomas is, you don't respect it. I thought game recognized game. If you're really a killer at heart like Isiah is, the undersized man, the little engine that could, then you should respect Isiah instead of always picking at Isiah. So because he has more rings, he'll win that conversation. But in my eyes, Isiah looks like the more authentic one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's hypocritical. I feel as if Michael is still angry over the fact that Isiah never bent the knee. Isiah never fully acknowledged that, yeah, you got the best of me. The way we heard Magic say it, the way we heard Bird say it. Because if Michael truly understood what happened, he would appreciate that Isiah did to him what Michael Jordan did to his teammates, which is he forced him to reach a level that maybe he would not have been able to reach on his own. But because of the way the Pistons beat the snot out of him and the way they physically abused him and the way they suffered no quarter from him, they forced him to change his game. They forced him to get into the weight room. They forced him to accept the triangle. And they ultimately made him the player that he is today. I can see where you'd say it's hypocritical in that he's not appreciating that Michael Jordan is not the player he is today without Isiah Thomas and the Pistons.